"Look at them," a voice rasped. It wasn't in the room. It was in the marrow of her bones. "They carve lines in the mud and call it law. They take what cannot be taken." Elena's eyes snapped open. The facility was the same, fluorescent lights buzzing like angry hornets. But the shadow cast by the guard standing at the heavy steel door was wrong. It wasn't the silhouette of a man in a tactical vest and a baseball cap. The shadow on the floor wore a crested helmet. It held a pilum, a spear, not a clipboard. Elena blinked. The shadow returned to normal. The guard, Officer Miller, tapped his baton against the fencing. "Quiet down in there. No talking between sectors." Elena hadn't spoken, but the voice in her head laughed, a low, throaty sound like grinding stones. "He thinks he commands you because he holds the key," the voice whispered. Prasutagus thought they would honor his will. He thought if he played by their rules, they would leave us with half. But Rome takes everything. Rome is a wolf that eats until it bursts. Elena knew that name. Prasutagus, the king of the Iceni. In the reflection of the polycarbonate window, Elena saw her own face, gaunt, dark circles under her eyes. But for a flicker, the reflection shifted. She saw woad, blue war paint slashed across cheeks scarred by grief. She saw a torque of twisted gold around her neck instead of a plastic intake wristband. She was hallucinating. Dehydration? Stress. Not hallucinating, the present surged, hotter now. Remembering. They stripped you, didn't they? Took your shoelaces, took your dignity. They did the same to me. They flogged me in the public square to show the tribes that a queen is nothing but meat to the empire. Elena looked at her hands. They were trembling. 2 days ago, during intake, she had been ordered to strip while 3 officers watched, checking for contraband. The shame had burned her face. "And your daughters?" the voice hissed, vibrating with a rage that felt like magma. "Did they touch them?" Elena's gaze shot across the room to the pink ribbon. "No," she whispered aloud. "Not yet. They just moved them." "They take the daughters!" the voice roared, no longer a whisper. "They took mine, ruined them, to break the bloodline, to show that we have no future but the one they permit." Elena stood. Her legs felt heavy, but her spine felt strangely rigid. As she walked down the long linoleum hallway, the fluorescent lights seemed to flicker like torches in the wind. The interview room was small. A woman in a gray suit sat behind a desk piled with files. She didn't look up. "I am Boudica of the Iceni." Elena shook her head. "Elena Rostova, you entered the zone illegally," the woman said, her voice flat, bureaucratic. "You have no documentation. Under Section 8, Title 12, you are subject to immediate removal. Your children will be placed in protective custody until a guardian can be located." Protective custody. The room seemed to shrink. The air grew hot. "Protective custody," Boudica sneered in her mind. "That is what Catastasianus said when he seized my lands. He said he was protecting the emperor's assets." Elena looked at the woman. "You cannot separate us. We are asylum seekers." "By international law?" "The law has changed," the woman cut her off, finally looking up. Her eyes were tired, empty. "I don't make the rules, ma'am. I just enforce the borders." "Borders," the voice thundered. "Lines drawn by thieves." Elena felt a heat rising in her chest, a physical sensation so intense she gasped. It wasn't panic anymore. It was power. It was the collective scream of every mother who had ever stood before a soldier, a magistrate, or a judge and been told she did not matter.